pandemic began to hit the continent of Europe, leagues across Europe cancelled, suspended, postponed, one after the other. And we were practically down to two, weren't we? We were down to Turkey and we were down to Belarus at one point. Well, not that long after, Turkey was forced to also suspend football in the country, and we were down to Belarus. That was it. But a couple of months on, is that about to change? Could we see Belarusian football postponed? Will the country take a different course of action? It'll be very interesting to see over the next few weeks because of these most recent developments. The Bureau of the Executive Committee of the Belarusian Football Federation has postponed 3 games that were set to take place over the next 3 or 4 days. Now, Thursday's game between FC Minsk 2 and Arsenal Jajinsk, the game which is a first division game, obviously the second tier of football in Belarus. FC Minsk's reserve side, that is, by the way, and against Arsenal Jajinsk. That game is being postponed. Friday's game, Premier League game between FC Minsk, the first team, and Neman Grodno, has been postponed. Saturday's first division game, also between Arsenal Jajinsk and the leaders Lokomotiv Gomel, has been, you guessed it, postponed. 3 games inside of 3 days have had to be, the plug has been pulled on those games, and it is due to the suspected COVID-19 cases among FC Minsk and Lokomotiv Gomel players. So even though Arsenal Jajinsk feature twice on these postponed lists, it's not to do with them, it's to do with FC Minsk and Lokomotiv Gomel. So imagine if the games were allowed to be played and Arsenal Jajinsk would have been put under threat inside of 2 games inside of 3 days. So I'm sure they'll be glad that the postponements have come. However, it does raise questions over Belarusian Premier League and over the Belarusian football, over Belarusians' attitude to the virus. Will the league continue? Are we being too soft? Are they being too hard? Should there perhaps be a little bit more of a balance? Should they play games in empty stadiums? Should more precautions take place? I was watching more than a couple of the games over the weekend, and you could tell more and more people are attending these matches. The last game I saw was Smolovici against Bate Borisov. Now I know that Smolovici's home game is at Bate Borisov's training ground, and you could tell there was a lot of people there. I don't know the official attendance statistics, but could I dare to say 1,000? Maybe around 1,000 people there. There was plenty of fans. The atmosphere was pretty good, to be fair. And when you watch Belarusian games and you see so many empty stands, to see that for a change, it was I could hardly believe it. It's as if people are starting to change their mind on the virus, taking perhaps the view of Lukashenko, the president. Nevertheless, it is an interesting course of action by the federation to postpone these 3 games. Clearly, despite their hard line and their attitude to the virus, they're not suicidal. They understand the threat of it, and they have postponed these 3 games. But we'll see what they do in the next few weeks. It'll be interesting as the situation progresses. With regards to the situation in Belarus with the virus, there are 25,800 cases, 146 reported deaths, and let's not forget the population of Belarus at the moment is 9.5 million. So to be fair to them, the numbers aren't horrific at this moment in time. Obviously, every death is tragic, but 146 deaths. I mean, you compare. I'm here in England at the moment where there's over 30,000 deaths. I think we're closing in on 35 soon. That is a tragedy. So Belarus, despite not closing anything down, despite not setting a lockdown, they are doing quite well. There is a host of games which we will do videos about individually heading into the week. On Friday, we are down to that 1 game now between Torpedo Zhodino and Gorodeya, which should be a decent contest. That's 4 o'clock English time on Friday. Then on Saturday we have we have 3 games. We have Energetic taking on Dynamo Brest at 1 o'clock, Soligorsk against Slavia Mosir at 3, and Bate Borisov against Slutsk at 5 o'clock. I have to tell you, that could be potentially one of the games of the season so far, because Bate, they're on the rise. Slutsk, how will they respond? How will they're playing away in Borisov as well. I'm looking forward to that one. That will be a really good encounter. And then on Sunday we've got a few more games. Belshina against Vitebsk. I was impressed by Belshina's resolve. They're taking on Vitebsk. Dynamo Minsk against Izloch Minsk. And Ruk Brest against Smolovici. 2 newly promoted teams going head to head. I felt so sorry for Smolovici last weekend against Bate Borisov. And you know, they take on a Ruk Brest side, which, to be fair, they are leaps and bounds of the expectations that people had on them. They were actually promoted via a playoff. They finished 3rd in the first division last year, so they had to go through a playoff to get into to be promoted into the top tier. Smolovici, meanwhile, they were automatically promoted, and you could just tell the difference. Ruk Brest are playing, they've got no pressure on them, and they are flying at the moment, picking up that 4-2 win over Neman Grodno last weekend. Whereas Smolovici, 3 losses in a row. Never mind about that. We'll get into all the details of the games later on as we head into this weekend. But at the moment, this update with regards to the postponement of games is an interesting one, and we will monitor the situation closely.